G'day YouTube, my name's Lance. Welcome to Bundy Bear's Shed. Well look, this is a little review. It's of an air jack. It's a 5-ton air jack made by Vevor, V-E-V-O-R. They contacted me, did I want to do reviews, and I sort of didn't want to for ages, and then anyway, I had a look around and I thought, well, I'll have a look at this. If this works well, we get on with them, I might do a few more. If not, nothing lost. So this air jack, it's a 5-ton. Look, it comes packed well, and you would expect it to be packed well nowadays. In Australia where I am, they send them via TNT. The package is, I think it's somewhere around 25 kilos, and the main handle is in a couple of pieces, and look, that's just to fit it all in the box. So it must be more convenient and cheaper to send stuff on the box. You get a sheet of instructions, and it's only to be used in the process of rising and falling. Please used in relative level solid ground. Place a triangle block under car dependency wheel. So it's in Chinglish sort of thing. So, and look, they are made in China, I'm sure, and they're made for a price. But look, nothing ventured, nothing gained. I've watched a few reviews on these things. Look, they seem to go okay for the price point. Someone said that the row of Allen key bolts around the top and the bottom, check them. So I've read that in a review, so we'll just give them a bit of a nip up and just see what we have. Well, let's see, mate. Oh, that one come up a bit. That one come up a lot. And you can feel when they've done the full thing, they sort of feel like they bottom out a little bit. So yeah, certainly check these screws. I think it's the thing to do. And there's some screws underneath. So we'll just run through those. And they're a different size, of course. So they're 4mm. Okay, they were okay. And you can hear something inside there that must be to stop it travelling too far. This hose here it's only a push-on hose. It's already hooked up, and from watching others I know that you must put this spring on first. There's a spring in the hardware kit. Bring that down so when you jack up and down and that it doesn't kink. So I'm going to bring the camera in now. I've got I've got all my benches full. I'm halfway through a heap of projects and this rolled in and I thought, oh bloody hell. So I've got a pallet on the hoist with a piece of ply on it, and I'll bring you in close and we'll just run through the assembly to start with, and yeah, look, let you know what we find there. Okay, go and grab all your all your metric spanners, and I don't know what we need yet. I just grabbed a heap. Grab her for Craftsman, a shifter. Yeah, you haven't got one of them, you're not having a go. I got 10mm, 11mm, 13mm. I'm not sure what I'm going to need yet. This being all metric, if you lost your 10mm spanner, you're rooted. Give up now. You won't do any good. One thing I notice here is they have this, they supply a male quick release coupler, but it's not the sort I use. It looks like the sort that ARB have on some of their air tools, but I don't use that. I have a Nitto end here, so it's a Nitto end with the sealant on it already. So I'll just put that in while we're thinking of it. So you need your bloody shifter. And this will just make it suit what goes on in my shed here. Everything is Nitto, it has better flow. Back when we used to use nut guns, you know, as in big ack nut guns, big air lines and big flow. The Nitto had the best at the time, and that's what we went to. So, so we've just stayed there ever since. I notice on the handle here there's a plastic grip there now. One of the reviews I watched, they were saying that that was a bit sharp because it's just a laser cut piece of probably 2.4 mil. You have a couple of ball valves here, and this green one that we've just put the coupling on, that's on, so that's how you do the lifting. This red one here, this is the outlet, so they would be out to the side, I would imagine, and when you need to let it go out, you're okay. There's a safety valve in here, a little relief valve, same as you see on your air compressors, just for safety's sake. And they also have a stone gauze filter on the outlet, and look, if nothing else, that'll stop the wasps and the mud daubers and all that building in it. But mine was loose, so we'll just tighten that up. So all in all, look, those valves seem okay. That handle's a little bit loose there. I'm going to have to use my big shifter again because I haven't got the right size metric spanner here. So if we can turn that around and just nip that up a little bit. Oh no, it doesn't really want to tighten up. There's just a bit of slop in the taps. But look, if it doesn't leak, it doesn't matter. Once it's lifted, this has to stay shut. Okay, so in the photos, the handle goes this way with the handle piece at the top and the controls at the bottom. Then this hose has to feed up through this other part of the handle. So this piece of the handle here with the cutout, that goes down. So we might just pop that in now, put the hose in now and see. So that stops that hose from kinking by the look of it. So that's okay. But look, what I may do though, before we get too excited, is this bracket. This is the bracket that the handle goes on and you wheel it around by and you push it about. It goes in through here. Now, they do supply 2 Allen head countersunk screws. They go in through there, in those holes. Then the bracket goes on through there. And that air hose is nearly in the road now. Okay, that's one on. Yeah, that air hose is a bloody nuisance. And that's the other. So if we get that hose out of the way, that'll give me the opportunity to tighten those up. I reckon you need a little metric socket set too to do this job. A 10 mil with an extension, I'd say. Hang on, I'll go and grab one. Okay, to do this up, I'm going to need, what size is that, 4 mil? Yep, 4 mil Allen key. And a 10 mil socket on a long extension. And with being countersunk, that should line them up. They should line up nicely with that. And that's for the handle, just to push it around. That screw strip, that bolt, will not tighten up. Let's see if it's the bolt or the nut. Now I can't get the bloody thing off. Just a bit of sideways tension on the nut. That might help. Okay, I'll get my lookers on. Let's see. That screw's got stuff all thread in it. There's another one up here. Let's see if this one goes. Feels good. We'll have another go at that, eh? That's fine. Yeah, so we just had a dicky nut. One dicky nut out of the box, one dicky nut putting it together. Anyway, we'll bloody put him back down there, and I'll run that spring, and that should help get it. Hopefully I can use the spring there to hold it down against, so it's not running over the top of that bolt. These wheels, they slop around everywhere. So they got it's all right to have clearance, but okay, let's tighten them down a bit. They're nylon lock nuts as well. Looks to have an air gap there now. I know you don't want them too tight, but 10 and 12 mils probably a tad much, eh? And what I think would be a good thing, and I'll probably do it, is we'll get the grinder later and we'll knock this piece of thread off, because a sharp bit of thread poking out the side there. That nut's on crooked, eh? I'm sure. Oh. And that bottom one, that's run out of thread. I think if you bought this, it probably wouldn't hurt you to run down to the local bolt place and buy some reasonable quality 6 and 8 millimetre hardware. Like the jack's only cheap, but I think the hardware matches. So this piece here, you have, it has to go up so the hose can go in it. Now, one of these bolts goes through. I'll bang that in there just because I can. We'll work our way to the handle. So the bottom pivot has a slot in it, so you can pull it in and out and engage the little dogs here by the looks. So let's try. Okay, so with the handle in there. Okay, so the next thing to do, I believe, would be to feed this fella in through there. These plates go on. These bolts go on. I think If we put that there, how close to the ground does that go? Okay. So if the threads, oh yeah, this protects the threads, so if you have the threads sitting down, no big deal. I think it'll be okay. This whole thing will be assembled in half an hour, apart from the trip to the shop to get the new nuts. Okay, so these are fairly thin, as in what I'm talking about with the thin is these brackets, so you wouldn't want to over tighten them. I'm looking forward to using this actually. I think it'll be handy in the shed here, but there's a couple of concerns I have that I'll bring up shortly. And this bolt here, that's supposed to go through there. But there's the nut that should fit, but I just doesn't because it's buggered out of the box. Okay, that's looking okay. I don't know what else I would expect there. That's looking okay. Okay, now this hose here, there's a little nut. A lot of air hoses are like this now. I'll bring it back a bit so you can see it. And yeah, there's a lot of air hoses like this, and I'm not that much in favour of it. So if I pull that tight, have a look at the mark there. I need to take about 50 mil off that, I think, because it'll just bunch up down the bottom otherwise. So it's shorter up here, it's longer down the bottom. I'll get some snips. Nice and clean. Now that pushes up there. And do you realise that the entire 5 tonne that the vehicle lifts is on this little hose? And not only is it on it when it's lifting, it's on it when it's held in place. Okay, well, rough enough, that's the assembly done. And look, real time, perhaps half an hour maybe. Yeah, looks okay. I can't see anything else that we would need to do. That's got a little pad there. Fairly wobbly there. I hope that goes out when it's up high, but an airbag would have to have some deflection. And for wheeling it round, okay. All right, enough on the assembly. Let's hook some air up and let's see if the bloody thing works. Okay, I've been having a play here with the air hooked up, and it's supposed to be about 5 inches, 4.7 inches or something like that. Then when we pull the green lever, I've got the red open at the moment, so I've got the dump open. So with no load, look, we're lifting air, I can lift air, look. So that's no test for this thing. All right, so we'll shut off the return or the lower. Okay, that's supposed to be 40 centimetres, 400 mils. I think it would be every bit of that, probably more. But it may not go as far with a load on it. I can see that little spring there. It's still, well, stopping it from kinking. I am a bit concerned that little hose carries all the load when you've got a tractor on it. We'll just open the dump. You can hear something inside, and I think it's like a concertina, a piece of pipe like that, piece of pipe or something that stops it going too far, and then as it's coming down it has to collapse again, so that's good. That's with the tap right open. Look, that's good. All right, let's go and lift the tractor up. I'll see if I can bring one to the doorway of the shed there if it's not too breezy, and we'll see if we can lift the front axle to do a hub or something like that. Okay, we're at the front. We're at the front now. The sound's probably crap. But anyway, I've got it under the front of this front end loader John Deere, and let's see if we can make this leaf valve go. Oh shit, it's already going there. Hang on. That's my shop air going. That's about the maximum. And you can just hear it starting to leak now. Okay, so that safety valve works. That's good to know. All right, let's get it around under a hub, see if we can lift a corner of the tractor. Okay, we've got it under the front wheel of this tractor here with the loader, so we're supporting the whole corner of the tractor and the loader frame. And if we pop the camera in here, I'll just hold it by hand and see what we can work out. We're not going to take any wheels off, but certainly whenever you bring this thing outside or anywhere, bring a safety stand, but we're not pulling any wheels off, so let's see. Oh, that's lifting that easily. The compressor's just kicked in. I'll turn the taps off now. Look at that, wheel off the ground. Okay, look, that's a bit more than you'd ever expect it to do. Like the wheel's off the ground there. It seems to be sitting there okay. I wouldn't hop under it with that bloody jack under it, that's for sure. But normally we would put a block of wood there and we'd run a 10-ton hydraulic jack out and jack up that corner. This being a 5-ton, look, it does it quickly and easily. I had one block of wood there, but yeah, way quicker. So yeah, it seems to lift okay, and it's holding no worries. It's not leaking down, so I think it seems okay. Okay, we'll let some air out now. Down she comes. Fairly smooth coming down. Doesn't seem to be a worry at all. We'll stop it there and we'll give another crank. Look, it's doing that easily, it's not trying too hard. It's fairly quick. And that wheel's right off the ground. So yeah, as far as lifting goes, yes, you got the ghoulies to do that, no worries. Well, there you go. We've assembled the Vevor 5-ton, 11,000 pound, I think they say, floor air jack. Now, we have to have a talk about a few things, obviously. How did the instructions go? Look, I couldn't really get on with the instructions. We just puddled along. Things like, remember if the bottom rises up to the maximum, stop to rise, and things like that. So I reckon if they're selling these things all around the world, give me a yell, I could write this shit better. It shouldn't be hard to get an English-speaking person of Chinese origin, say, or something like that, that has a full understanding of the English language to write a good instruction. And look, it's one sheet, shouldn't take all day, take a little while, not all day. The build quality, look, it seems sufficient to do the job. It's not one of these $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 jobs. You know that when you pay $200 for it or $300, wherever you are in the world. It seems to do the job well. Like lifting that tractor blade bucket out the front there and making this relief valve blow off, that's using it to the extreme. It's good to know that that relief works. That's why we did that. Lifting up the corner of the tractor, that's probably more than this jack is ever meant to lift, and it did it. So as far as lifting capacity goes, I believe it would. It's pretty strong. It's good. The negatives that I can see, a positive is the packaging it comes in, and the freight. The freight is quick as anything. The packaging's good. There's no damage to it at all. Like it comes out of the box in good nick. The negatives, well, just fit and finish really. These bolts here, you know, they've got the nuts done up, and you've got 15 millimetres of thread on this side, 13 on that side, and this nut with the hardware is on an angle, like the back surface of this nut and the wheel don't rub on each other at all. So I think that something needs to be fixed. Now, just to have the nut there rubbing against the not plastic, nylon plastic, whatever the wheel's made of, it wouldn't break the bank to put a little flat washer in there, and probably a washer each side. I haven't looked at what's on the inside there. On the inside it comes up against this flat housing there, so you can understand that being okay. But I think the hardware all around lets it down. We've got one nut here that was just shit out of the bag. So I don't know what it cost them to make this. I know it's not much. For an extra 3.5 cents, they could put some lovely hardware on it and have it looking really good. But anyway, the hardware lets it down. I think to keep this, I'll probably go to my local bolt place and buy some good quality 6x1 bolts, probably stainless, with a flat washer around here and a flat washer on the other side with nylon lock nuts. This main pivot, I don't believe it needs a washer each side, but this one, I just think it'd be nice to have a washer to help that run up and down the quadrant, I suppose. We'd call that a quadrant in the tractor game, and possibly replace that hardware too. Some people have said that this was loose, the bolts, ours was loose. The other thing is that little spring that we pulled down earlier, it's ridden up that way again a little bit. So it needs dealing with again. Yeah, it's just ridden up, so we probably need to put that down again. I don't know if everyone's does that, or it's just mine and the way I use it. So we need to look at that. The taps seem okay, like they don't leak or anything. They're easy to use. Quarter turn ball valves, quarter turn on and off. Possibly, if you're worried about the rate that it went up and you didn't want to feather this tap here, you could possibly put a little needle valve here and adjust the flow, so you could open it up and then just adjust the flow to have a nice even raise and lower, but it's a $200 jack. The thing I particularly aren't that keen on is this little piece of plastic hose here. Now it's quite soft plastic. Now keep in mind that the whole weight of whatever you lift is on this hose, because at the end of this hose is that safety relief valve. So if you've got your shop air, which is 100 pounds per square inch, or whatever your shop air is, this little hose here is okay. Now I've got some of those curly flexible air hoses, air lines, and they've got that same little push-on fitting and all that. And in the past I've had to replace a few. They don't seem to be all that long lasting. This here, look, it seems to be holding. It held that tractor up. You can't complain about that. But I don't know, it just looks a bit flimsy in my mind. Probably if they had a good hunk of air hose and a proper tail through here with a hose clamp, then a bigger piece of hose, but then the bigger hose might kink over or something like that. There may be a reason. But all in all, there you go. That's my look at the Vevor 5-ton shop air jack. Am I going to keep it here? Yeah, look, I'm going to keep it and use it for sure. Going to the hardware shop, I'm going to tidy things up. Some of these things, like if I just left it, it would piss me off. I'm going to put new nuts down here and washers down there. I'm going to do what I said I'm going to do with it. Would I buy one? Look, it's $200 or $2.99 or something like that. I've looked on it all over the world on it at the moment, and they're all over the place at different pricing, but in Australia they're not that expensive. They're a great little thing. Probably like I had it outside on the gravel out in front of the shed's not the best. They say keep it on flat ground, but if you just had it on a nice concrete floor here to lift the tractor or something like that, look, it'll do the job. I can't see an Australian safety standard on it. I don't know if it has to have one or not. It hasn't. I can't see one. Whatever you do, do not trust this thing. Do not jack it up and crawl under for a look at something. Just don't do it. Put a safety stand under. Vevor should sell a package with this and 2 safety stands. Just do not rely on it. These bellows can blow. As they get older, there's no way that I know of testing these, so you don't know if it's going to blow today, tomorrow, next week, next Tuesday. You just don't know. Another con is I can't see parts for it anywhere. Now this pad here, this hoist pad, you can buy them anywhere. That's okay. The reason the pad's probably that big and not the whole end here is so they're encouraging you to push in the middle here, lift in the middle. But yeah, I couldn't see any bellows for sale anywhere if you blew a bellows. The air hose you could replace, like that'd be no trouble at all. These little ball valves you could replace. But yeah, I don't know about the bellows. So if you see bellows, put it in the comments for me and I'll have a look. So there you go. Would I buy one? Yeah, probably. Just be prepared for a bit of Chinese manufacturing. Some of the stuff that peed me off with it, you can fix easily. Like, I doubt that I'll spend $10 fixing these bolts and washers and nuts and all that. It's not going to be much, but that'll make me happier. So there you go. Make up your own mind. I'm not getting paid for this. They just said, do you mind doing a review? And I said, yeah, send her over. So there you go. Use your own mind, think for yourself and go from there, eh? See ya.